Hello there.
This is where the fun begins.
What's up, guys? Unofficial Star Wars here. Hope you're all doing well, and yes, it's been a hot minute since we've last uploaded here on the channel. There is quite an explanation, a good explanation for that very much. I am very excited to talk about that with you guys here in this video on the channel here in a minute. But anyway, in today's video, we are going to be discussing the Acolyte Season 2 chances. Is it going to be canceled, or is it going to be renewed? What is going on with the future of the Acolyte on Disney+. Of course, we're going to go ahead and we're going to hop right on into it. Before we do though, however, grab that subscribe button if you haven't already, as we're discussing and covering all types of Star Wars related news, leaks, rumors, theories, and breakdowns here on the channel. So if you guys are into any of that, go ahead and grab that subscribe button today. So first things first, where have I been here for the last couple of weeks? It feels like at this point I have been working on my thesis for film school. It is wrapped. It's a little short film, a sci-fi short film, so if you guys like Star Wars, you'll probably enjoy it as well. I'll continue to keep you guys updated with that as we go through its post-production and editing process for its September 28th release. Very excited about that nonetheless though. The second thing I'd like to keep you guys in the roundabout with is I like to keep it transparent here on the channel, and in all honesty and transparency, I am just not up to date with the Acolyte. I know its finale has concluded. I know a couple of things that have happened in the finale, such as Plagueis and Yoda popping up and showing up in there, and other than that, I just haven't seen any of the other episodes. I've watched from episodes 1 to episode 4 or 5, I think the beginning of 5 I've seen, and that's about it. Now, I think that's something to say for a separate feature video here on the channel. You can argue that, oh, I haven't finished the Acolyte because it's not interesting. I like to argue that I haven't finished the Acolyte because I just haven't had the time. As I had mentioned, being in school, taking classes over the summer is really quite a drag, and also doing my thesis over the course of this month has really been a lot of work to take on as well. So to argue that, oh, I'm not watching it because it's not interesting isn't entirely fair, I think. But I'd also like to argue that if this was maybe The Mandalorian Season 4, for example, and if it was interesting enough, I think that I would have made the time to keep up with it. That's where we will leave that. As I had mentioned, I'd like to discuss that in a separate feature video here on the channel, kind of my in-detail thoughts and opinions as an overall review of the entirety of Season 1 of The Acolyte, not if, but when I do finish it. So in this video, we are going to be taking a quick read from the Direct's article. I'll have their article linked in the description down below for you guys to check out there as well. Episode 8 of The Acolyte has left Star Wars fans with several different questions, mixed feelings, and also including whether the Disney Plus series is going to be canceled or renewed, what's going on with its future. Not just that, but how is The Acolyte and its performance going to affect other Disney Plus projects for a galaxy far, far away. I'd also like to argue that that's just simply not fair, but it is kind of the name of the game also in that sense as well. I'm not saying that that's what happened and went on with, you know, Star Wars movies maybe, for example, but there is much more of a process that goes into making Star Wars films as well. Anyway, Lucasfilm's first ever live-action High Republic project has proven to be one of the franchise's most diverse, earning a record low score of Rotten Tomatoes that has failed to improve throughout the show's 8-episode run over the course of the last 8 weeks. Technically 7 because the first 2 episodes were released together in the same week. Anyway, certain events from the streaming series' 8th episode, its finale of Season 1, had suggested that Lucasfilm may have further plans for the Acolyte. Of course, is nothing new entirely, actually, and something that we have discussed plenty of times in and out here on the channel, is that Lucasfilm and Disney has had plans for the Acolyte Season 2, and it's even something that very well could be in production right now, and we might just not know about it, but I honestly highly doubt that is the case. Disney really thought that The Acolyte was going to be one of its most successful shows of all time, even more successful than The Mandalorian, and that unfortunately just isn't the case. It just isn't loved by fans necessarily, and that's okay. The idea though, however, of that the Season 2 of The Acolyte is already kind of underway. I wouldn't say that it's full gears kind of moving right now necessarily, but there is an idea for it, and there's definitely a story that Lucasfilm and Disney want to tell with the rest of this project and the rest of these characters here as well, at least with what's left of these characters after episode 5. I do know that as well. Anyway, episode 8 of The Acolyte left the door quite open for further storytelling, not only with its surviving characters, but also with the episode's jaw-dropping cameos. As I had mentioned, I do know that Plagueis is in there, and I do know that Yoda pops up in there as well. A lot of people are actually mad at that, though, because Leslie Headland, the showrunner and writer of the show, said that they aren't going to be using, any legacy characters, but, well, here we are kind of using those legacy characters for some of that leverage. There's actually been some discussions of fans actually believing that those kind of like random cameos, because people have actually been calling them random, were actually added in the last couple of weeks to kind of help the show maybe bump up a little bit from its viewership and everything of that nature, like with the fans. It could be the case, it couldn't be the case, I don't know, and honestly I don't really care. I think it is kind of cool though that they still put those characters in there. I'm not really complaining. But at the time of writing this article, recording and publishing this video here as well, our source by the direct reads that Lucasfilm and Disney have yet to confirm whether the series is going to be renewed for a second season. The showrunner and writer of the show, Leslie Headland, has confirmed that the Acolyte's uncertain future herself, and also talking with thenerdist.com in a recent interview with them, admitting that she simply has no idea about the chances for a season 2, or even if she'll be a part of that. However, she has acknowledged that a sophomore season kind of, conversations have been brought up and have taken place, saying that they're, in quote, I have no idea. Well, not that I have no idea. I would say that there are conversations, and I don't know when that will happen. I don't know when those decisions will be made. I mean, that quote right there, really just reiterating, adding to that resume and kind of confirming and solidifying, as I had mentioned earlier on at the beginning of this video, that Disney having those talks and just those ideas of that they want this to be a multi-season show inside and out of just a second season and its first season, let alone that there as well. They would see this, continuing on for a third, fourth, fifth, even sixth season, so on and so forth of the Acolyte, with kind of the different stories, the different characters, and of really just this universe, or at least where the timeline is in this universe during this time period of a galaxy far, far away. Is really just a story that Lucasfilm wants to tell. Leslie Headland also reveals to Collider.com in another recent interview that she had initially pitched the Acolyte as a multi-season show from the get-go, explaining that she told Lucasfilm President Kathleen Kennedy about the different conflicts that she sees happening specifically in the second season. Like, sure, they have conceived this idea for season 1 and are already underway with it. Here's what she would have had planned for season 2, saying that they're, in quotes, we could make it pretty quickly. We definitely have a timeline, and I have a lot of different ideas. And again, a lot of it was kind of stuff that I told Kathleen Kennedy early on from the get-go in terms of where I would like the season to go and the conflicts that I see happening specifically in a second season. But I have been working nonstop on this for a very long time, so I'm definitely taking a much needed break before we get to the writer's room. I mean, that quote right there. I'd like to say that we'd be confident in a second season happening of the Acolyte, but it just doesn't seem very plausible right now. Of course, I'll continue to keep you guys updated with that as we do with all types of Star Wars related news, leaks, rumors, theories, and breakdowns here on the channel. As we're doing that all here on the channel, it's all the more reason to grab that subscribe button if you haven't already, guys. Thanks so much for watching today's video. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a great one. May the Force be with you as always. Peace out.